Hello. Welcome to the daily stream. Real quick, news-wise, it looks like Israel hit Hezbollah, possibly the spokesperson. Russia attacked Ukraine pretty hard. Biden authorized the use of long-range U.S. weapons in Russia or against Russia. So that's what's going on globally. And then cabinet picks stuff. Okay, let's see if I have any tweets. Today is just going to be a straight up open panel. And bring your problems. We want to do more problem solving on here. So, personal problems, community problems, workplace problems, relationship problems, philosophical problems, political problems, whatever. If I can't solve them, or find someone to help you solve them, I'm impressed with the little team we have here. So if we can't solve it, we'll try to point you somewhere that might be able to. Or part of solving problems is realizing what the problem is. If what you think is the problem is actually the problem. So you might have a problem that's not solvable because it's not actually a real problem. We'll help you identify that too. All right, let me see if I have any tweets. From Paul Rossi, the fatal flaw of inveterate social engineers is that they underestimate human nature. You can't override content with marketing. Yes, I've been saying this forever. Like, I don't know how people end up with such a distorted or poor sense of human nature. Do they not have a human nature of their own that they can go off of? You have to build, if you're building long term, you have to build around how people actually are. You can't just make them whatever they want to be. They're not blank slates. Vocal distance says, you want what your behavior says you want. You do not want what you claim to want. You do not want what you think you want. You do not want what you decide that you want. You do not want what you are supposed to want. You want what your behavior says you want. That's why I say go by actions. Actions tell all. Say it, mean it, do it. Make sure those three things align. Make sure that people's actions are accord with their words and with their heart, with their meaning, if they're sincere actions. And if the words are sincere and the actions are sincere, the motivation and feeling behind it should also be sincere for that to be consistently the case. Okay, let's see. This person says, most black men I know who made it out of the hood voted for Trump. Why is that? And Lee Fang says, we're looking at the graph, I'll show you these, of the rightward shift, or the extreme leftward shift rather. Immigration and police force, these are the progressive views, these are the minority views. Again, median voter, not too far away from the conservatives on the right. Look how far out the left is. They're the ones that shifted, and they created a little bubble for themselves. Voters associate the Democrats more with socio-cultural issues than class or economic stability. Yeah, they used to be the party of the working class. Now they're the party of the socio-cultural elite. Which, anybody that's not in that bubble, nobody likes them. It's the Karenocracy. So anyway, this guy says, I've been smeared for years for pointing this out. Non-whites and moderate voters want public safety police, immigration restrictions, and opposed race-based affirmative action. The woke identity politics demands come nearly entirely from the privileged white upper class. Exactly. And here's an interesting tweet. Harm to women is perceived as more severe and unacceptable than identical harm to men. These biases manifest in protective responses toward women and harsher judgments toward men, particularly in contexts of victimization and perpetration. That's that victim rescuer perpetrator dynamic, and I'm often on the other end of it. Gamma bias is what it's called when there's this perceived bias against men and towards women. It kind of happened on the stream yesterday. It surprised me where Not Laws was doing his lying and gaslighting, and I was coming after him, and Joe jumped in to rescue him, which kind of set me up as the perpetrator. And I was surprised to see that triangle form between three men. So it's an example of how it's not just limited to women. Um, no, but you probably have plenty. You're welcome. You're welcome to join. You don't have to have a problem. We can also just chat. Your problem could be that you're bored and just want to talk too. Clever, then you should go find the channels that he's on instead of coming here and complaining that he's not here, which is what everybody else says they want. But when they don't get it. See, that's why I don't listen to these mic trolls. They don't know what they want. Welcome.
Our problem is that I'm bored.
You're bored. Okay.
I'm
well,
bored
hopefully you're in the right place.
I mean, I was just watching a Hammersmith. Hold on. Hammerson Peters? Yeah, Hammerson Peters video on Little People of the Forest.
Oh.
How bored do you have to be, bro? Hammerson Peters is awesome. Hold on.
Hammers?
Okay, he's got all kinds of stuff. I got you.
Were the little people not interesting? What lives at Fairy Lake?
I've just read them all. I've just that I read all of these stories growing up, and he was nice enough when I first started my channel out. I had interviewed maybe a half dozen people, and out of the blue, I just decided to freaking email him. And coincidentally, one of the people I had interviewed is a friend of his. And so he actually got the email and brought it up to the guy. And he's like, no, I've been on his show. He's actually a pretty cool guy or whatever. And he refused to come on camera. He refused to come on panel. He wouldn't do the interview, but he did send me a private video answering all of my questions, which is super cool if you're not doing a face reveal.
Oh, wow. Like by video?
Yeah. He just made an animated video like he does his videos and sent it to me. I've got it here somewhere. I've never actually uploaded the whole thing because it's not my creation, and it was an answer to an interview, right? So there's some of it that's kind of. One of the questions I asked were, are there any stories that are too spicy for YouTube that you don't share? And he was like, yeah, tons. And here's one. And it's too spicy for YouTube and I can't share it.
Oh. Hey, how did your Talcott thing go?
Actually pretty well, considering that no one got permanently blocked that I'm aware of. And everybody kind of, I mean, I just told him to ignore chat and let's do this thing. And I was more interested in channel information than anything else, you know.
Yeah, I imagine he tends to draw the trolls or the haters wherever he goes.
I was aware that because my channel is ancillary, they're not blocked in my channel. So as soon as they pop up in his chat and can't chat, they move over to my chat, which is fine.
Yeah.
It got almost double the views a usual Sasquatch Chills gets. And
drama does bring the numbers.
It didn't cause a problem. I called a couple of my mods beforehand and was like, look, this might be a real one. So, you know, nuclear option if necessary.
Clever, that was an attack to you? I don't know what to tell you. You're welcome to your opinion. Your opinion was that it's more boring without Mike. So it's noted. Your opinion is noted.
I disagree. I don't think people are welcome to their opinion in most cases. In most cases, you're in an environment where you get to abbreviate who are around. You can just block them.
Yeah, I don't know how that was an attack. So he has a
weird
not an attack. Definition of attack, unless he's trolling.
Probably.
So were you Did you do a panel afterwards where people came up
Yeah,
to
Flash
confront
Tank
Jack like
came
they
up.
like to do?
Well, no, they didn't come at him though, like
Oh,
at all. Like that didn't happen. They came up. I mean, him and Flo had a back and forth for a minute, but other than that, it was pretty much just kind of like when you came up. We just chatted about different stuff and went on about our business.
oh. Well,
But
very good. Who's
yeah,
your
it
next
went
guest?
really well. I'm sorry, what?
Who- Chuck's going after you. Who's your next guest?
I have no idea, man. I've been talking to NPC. The um, I've got a few people. Kane's Catharsis is kind of on the list. If he doesn't,
Oh yeah, he'd be a good one. He's
if
a new
he doesn't
channel.
spring a leak or something. Uh, it's kind of up in the air. It's always up in the air. Usually until like a few days before. I mean, not everybody can show up on Thursday, and it takes some doing to get schedules to line up sometimes. So,
Oh yeah.
uh, there's another point is that I don't interview people who come to me asking for an interview. I interview the people that I pick if they're willing to do the interview, and sometimes that just doesn't lie. Some people just don't want to be on my channel, and whatever, dude. Yeah, that's fine. They don't like the word shill.
That's the thing that keeps them. How could they not want to be
Sometimes, I
on the
mean,
channel with all the cool lightning?
I don't know, man. I don't even think I'm that vicious. I mean, I'm a fairly nice guy. I'm definitely courteous in most cases. Although if you say something stupid, I'll let you burn yourself.
But
It's not
this
my
we're
job
gets
to pick you.
this is the nice version of Sasquatch too. You said the real life version is we're
Yeah,
getting
well,
that.
I go a bit harder at the paid in person, I guess. It's funnier too because I don't cut off those jokes. Like I said, if you say something stupid, I'll let it go on YouTube. And just because you're laughing doesn't mean I'm joking. By the way, just because I state the truth very matter of factly and you find it funny doesn't mean I'm not serious.
Right. What do you have going on today?
Absolutely nothing. Today's like the last free rats day. I'm gonna have to do some cleaning up tonight. My wife's supposed to be coming home tomorrow.
Oh, that's probably why you're bored. You don't have a project.
Uh, well, I mean, Sundays I used to have a show that I did with Captain Curmudgeon, but after he quit YouTube, I couldn't really find anybody to fill that current events right wing John Oliver kind of was what I was looking for, and he did the best intro monologues. Fucking fantastic. Captain Curmudgeon's top notch creator.
Oh,
Uh,
I don't even.
where I'll work with that man on anything. Like
Let
if
me
he
look him
showed
up.
up and was like, I need to design a submarine, I'd break out my slide rule and be like, look, this isn't exactly my strong suit, but I've got a few ideas. No screen doors.
We actually have a submarine he could die on if he's looking for one. We have a submarine game going in
Oh no.
Discord. The blast radius, is that him?
That's us. That's us. He does his own stuff on his own channel or did. Uh
Oh, he looks cool. I love his outfit, his gear
oh,
with the
he's got a
flags on it.
couple of cool things over there.
Yeah.
When I found him, he had like 96 subscribers or so,
Well, I'm
maybe
gonna give him a sub.
76. And it took me about a year and a half to convince him to get moved from just making videos to joining me on a live stream to doing a live show every week about current events.
Hey, Moose.
Macy.
Well, clever. He's not here to whip ass. He said that. He's here to be nice and
I'm
welcoming,
courteous.
courteous,
I
a
wouldn't go as far as
gentleman.
saying nice, but courteous. I will allow
Well,
people to prove who they are. I don't have to talk over them and I don't have to yell you down. And as a bonus, I have a very nice voice that tends to draw people's attention.
That's what a nobleman was traditionally. They were the people that could beat your ass, but they forbear and decided to be gentlemen instead, that were noble.
So I had a conversation with a red pill guy, and I think I broke him. We were discussing the concept of adopting children and women with children and marrying them and adopting their children and whether or not this is, he's like, but isn't that just mercy and charity? And I was like, you should kind of be seen as charity, but I don't understand the problem with that. He's like, but mercy and charity are for the weak. And I said, yes, sir, you are correct. He said, no, no, no. They're for the weak. Yes, they're for the weak. It is what the strong sacrifices so that the weak may survive. Mercy and charity. You cannot grant mercy unless you are in a strong situation. You cannot grant charity unless you are in a resource-rich environment. So it's literally for the weak.
Yeah, that's true. That's very Nietzschean too, because those are slave morality values.
Sure, and that's kind of how I feel about red pill people. They're kind of a slave to their own thoughts
Wait, well,
because
hey, I'm red pill. It depends on what you mean by
you're,
pill, because the
you're
meaning of that
sort
word.
of red pill.
I,
You represent a lot of the values that are beneficial from red pill, but you disparage all of the negative components as being exactly that. That it's not.
because those components were not part of the original red pill movement. They put KCJ did the red pill documentary, and it was all about men's rights,
Sure.
positive masculinity, men's issues, and at some point it became attached to the Andrew Tates and all this other stuff, but that was not the original red pill movement. And so when I say I'm red pill, I'm still going off of the
So
original
what you're saying
traditional
is
values.
you're red pill platinum over here,
Yeah, I
like
guess so.
original gold standard,
Right.
as it were. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I got you. But I mean, I still stand by the statement that I made. These negative values, or rather, not they're not values though. See, as a negative, it's not a value, and so these negative connotations that come about by utilization of these Andrew Tate types. It also goes over to things like crypto bros have kind of leaned into that sphere real hard too. And IRL streamers also kind of lean in
What
there.
kind of
And none of those
streamers?
people are like in real life, like people who are like streaming up and down the street somehow end up in red pill spheres. I don't
Oh, I've
understand it.
seen I've seen ones where they go around harassing people in public.
That's actually how it usually ends up because they're after views and clicks and they have to become more bombastic with each one. And so you remember Boot Gang,
Mm-mm.
gang, doing gang style,
Nope.
doing gang shit. I think is what he said. All right, so if the chat knows what year this was, I think it was like 2009, 2010. There was this dude who called himself Boonk. Think it was in California, but he would run into restaurants and steal something out of the buffet, or he would hijack something out of a display window and scream, living that gang life, doing a bunch of gang shit, boot gang, and then run out, right? And he did this all over the freaking city. And then he kind of took it interstate. And he did it in one city, and then he did it in another city. And then one day he tries to do it. I think it was in Houston. And the guy who was running the place was an ex MMA fighter. And he recognized him on the cameras when he came in. So when he came in, homie went and stood by the door. And I've never seen the end of that video, and I think there's a good reason why. But Boot
Was that
Gang
the end of
didn't do
him?
that stuff no more. Yeah, somebody got him good, bro. But he was a phenomenon at the time. He was like the origin of all of this shock jock kind of IRL streamer thing.
I just I try to like think of what value that adds. Is that all they have? Like, can they not do anything?
No, it's not that. I'm sure these are perfectly useful, valuable people, but they have fallen into the trap of fame. They are seeking fame at any freaking cost. They have fallen into the trap of clout. Anything for the clout. We need more views so we can get more money, so we can go to more places, so we can get more views. It's very much like that old cocaine ad, if you think about it. Do you remember the PSA? I work longer hours so I can buy more coke, so I can work longer hours. That
Oh
was a
no, but
PSA back in the mid
so
'80s.
they're clout. But what, like, if you're seeking clout, I guess is that the easiest way to get it? Shock, shock and drama. I guess so.
Drama works, sex works, but if you don't got drama and sex, or if you can't manage drama well, uh, and
There's
then
always
shock
trouble.
works,
Yeah.
right? Uh, so trying to do shock content, it's dangerous, man. Like I'm in Georgia, we have constitutional carry, and if you try to fake a freaking robbery or something over here, you're liable to get shot 6 times by the little old lady on the bus.
Good for
Like,
her.
I'm not joking, dude. Our old ladies up here are packing. They
Yeah.
got the heat.
Good for them.
So, I mean, like, you could do that if you want. That's just why you don't hear a lot of that coming out of Texas and Georgia, and you know what I mean. Like, they don't do those games. Those games don't pay out. It's a totally different headline when those games happen here.
I don't know. I just and it. I guess it's not even their fault. If there weren't a demand for it, they wouldn't have any ability to resort to that in the first place.
I don't think crypto bros being adjacent to the red pill sphere is an accident. I think that's a byproduct of the predatory crypto bros trying to influence the ill informed uh, neo red pill guys who are coming in thinking
I don't even know what a
do
crypto bro is. I mean, on my other channel, we did a little crypto weekly crypto chat discussion, and I
yeah,
had some
but
people into
there's a
crypto on, and
difference.
I wouldn't call any of them crypto bros.
There's a difference between being interested in crypto and being a crypto bro.
What
A
makes it a
crypto
bro?
bro, their entire channel rotates around crypto markets. Some of these people they live and breathe that stuff. But the only way their crypto can thrive is if they find a source of people willing to trade in that crypto. And so they go to these red pill spheres where the men are looking for guidance in a way of getting money, getting women, getting power, getting status, getting this thing, that thing, the other thing, and they masquerade as like new age guru types while running crypto scams and utilizing their subscriber base to manipulate the markets on the smaller crypto coins.
So it's like predator. They're preying on.
Yeah, I said I started with a predatory crypto bros coming in. Now, not all crypto bros are predatory, but there is a certain sphere of them. There's a female version of this that happens in the feminist community. It's not strictly, although it is more men, but women tend to get more money out of it.
Because the boobs.
I don't know. When you're dealing with feminists, well, who knows? I don't know how that works. I can't even begin to guess. I kind of get how it works from the red pill sphere, but from the feminists, I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't know. I couldn't even get on the crypto exchange. I gave up even trying to get into crypto.
Oh, bro, we got constitutional carry here. I can carry in my pocket. I don't have to tell you shit until they pat me down. And if I get pulled over, if the officer asks me if I have a firearm in the vehicle, I have to tell them. But if it happens to be in my pocket and they don't ask and I get out and they go to pat me down, that's when I have to tell them there's a pistol in my right pocket and not reach for it.
That seems
Right?
fair.
I mean, if you were going to use it, you'd have used it by then. You're not a threat, although the cops still sometimes overreact to the presence of a firearm, which is hilarious to me. That's the biggest sign you need to get a different job. You should be making sandwiches at Arby's or something. You shouldn't be out.
I work in the fry station at McDonald's.
That's fine, bro. That's far more respectable than a man who is removing his own morals in order to be a cop.
Yeah, I'm inspired to even try my hand at it. If I can't get this stream up and running, I might be on the fry station myself. Y'all come get some fries.
There ain't nothing wrong with it, is my point. I mean, if that's where it goes and that's what it takes, then
Yeah, I
that's what
think
it takes.
Trump brought a lot of dignity and respectability to it somehow.
It never lost it. It's honorable work. The guy who washes dishes, right? You remember back in the day, the random grifter coming through town would stop at the local greasy spoon and do the dishes for a meal, right? Like that was a relatively common thing that would happen because inevitably back then the owner would be up 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get all the dishes clean for breakfast the next morning so he could open up bright and early for all the truckers, right? So some random dude comes in right before closing, sits down, and the owner inevitably looks at him and go, "You do a couple of pans of dishes, and I'll bring you a meal." Guy orders, does the dishes, and moves on with his freaking life. That is also perfectly honorable. Strange, slightly unusual, but honorable.
Yeah. I mean, I think anybody that does anything honestly for a day's a fair pay
Well,
is,
that's where things break down is when it comes to whether you agree that what you did is worth the pay you received or not. That's negotiation. That's a different
yeah,
skill.
I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it was worth. Like, if someone's offered me less than I thought it was worth, I would just pass and find another opportunity. So I assume if people are taking the opportunity, they're okay. They think that it's worth whatever value's being offered for it.
Well, I mean, you got to look at a lot of different things for stuff like that. Like, I've taken jobs for paltry sums because it was with the right people,
Yeah.
with people who would be able to put me in a position of having a better capability of working with other people that I know they associate with. And it sounds petty, but at the same time, I ended up kind of running my own off grid construction for lodges and cabins and stuff. It was like I built shacks, chicken coops,
Oh.
mostly. Like I don't know how else to put it. These people would mill their own timber, stack it up, and their drying season would be like 2 months. So these things were like mushroom farms. They they weren't properly seasoned. Well, nothing there was treated. There's none of that. It's just it's good for about 5 years. After that, it's going to fall down.
Oh, wow. So
I mean,
did
I'm
you
in Georgia. I'm in
you
Georgia,
you
dude.
figured
Like,
that out on your own? You like identified a problem or a need?
well, basically, there I knew an old guy who used to do this type of work, and he did it all with hand tools. And I went to a guy here who contracted with various building companies around the I don't know, it's general southeast, North Florida, Alabama, some jobs in Mississippi, like just the whole southeast. And depending on what county you're in and where you're at, what state you're in, there's all kinds of different permitting processes and stuff. But in some cases, there aren't. And if you're one of those areas where there's zero permitting and zero necessity to notify, then basically you get a check for 10 grand to go build a house over there off of what's laying out on the yard. And they'll have already brought in all the wood and everything will be sitting there, and you just got to figure out how to power your saw enough to get it done. Is usually how it works. I had this one guy who he was making 8-inch concrete blocks. He had set up a little assembly line that had made bajillions of them, was selling them. He decided to build a lodge out on his property in a different area, and we loaded up a couple of million concrete blocks and built a concrete bunker over there for his lodge. Filled up every single one of those blocks with sand and concrete. Like that place was the coolest place in Georgia come middle of freaking summer.
Wow. Do you still do that?
Oh no, I retired.
Ah.
Screw that shit. That was like work. I had to quit that shit.
Oh, it became real work.
Well, no, it's not that it became real work. It's that I married a rich woman. And
Oh,
it's
okay. I
like,
guess that's another way to do it.
yeah, I just kind of went. She told me one time, she was like, you really don't have to do any of this anymore. And I called my boss. I was like, hey, kid, this bitch say I ain't got to do this shit no more. He's like, well, I wouldn't fucking do it. I said, all right, man. I hung up on him. That was my boss. And that was the last time I went to work.
And you still with her?
Yeah.
How do y'all handle the power differential?
What power differential?
Well,
I
like
mean,
I dated a rich guy
I
and he
got
wouldn't
this right
stop
here.
talking about how like different classes we were and how he had all the money and I would
Well,
never be able
that
to
sounds
afford
like a
this
him
and that if
problem.
he didn't pay for it.
That sounds like a him problem.
It
Uh,
was, but
I I
she
can't.
wasn't that way.
Yeah, no, she's not like that. I mean, there are some very huge, like I'd almost call it a cultural difference. Like she doesn't look at what things cost.
Yeah.
It never crosses her mind whether it's $2 or $200. It's immaterial to her. If she wants it, she buys it. If she doesn't even look at the receipt afterwards. I mean, unless she happens to land her eyes on it a week later and go, Jesus Christ, I spent $200 on that. Why? You know, and I'm like, it's because you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, my dear. You do not know the difference.
Yeah. That kind of stuff, I guess.
I got that drizzle, man. I ain't never made no shame on it. Like, whatever. You do you. I didn't marry for money, but nobody's going to believe that. So I
I
don't.
believe it. I don't date from I don't care about my I hate money in fact. I'd almost rather somebody closer to my class than a wealthy person just because of the cultural divide.
Yeah, it was a strange thing. Now, there there's a double handful of things that I've done since all of this took place. Like when her grandmother's inheritance came through, she sat down with all the paperwork and just shook her head. Was like, I can't do this, and I ended up spending like 6 weeks doing a massive amount of studying just to understand what the words that were being used in these documents were. Because I'm not legalese, I'm not a educated type person like that, but there's a library right down the road over here, and I have a library card, and what I don't know can probably be found in one of them there books or Google, and I have pretty good skill at finding what I need to know and applying it, maybe not wisely, but well.
She probably could have paid somebody for that too.
Well, but not to figure out like doing the budget of what we spend, how much
Oh,
do we
right.
want in stock, how much do we want in different assets and whatnot. Do we want property or not? I mean, like, how's all that supposed to fall out? And she was, distraught because her grandmother had died, and these people were like kind of haranguing her about needing an answer soon. And so I was like, I'll be back. And I started spending afternoons at the freaking library and
Okay, I'm gonna show my gun ignorance here, but what is a bump stop?
okay, bump stock.
Stock.
And your average firearm that is semi-automatic, there's a sear in it that keeps the trigger from cycling on its own, right? One trigger pull, pow, the gun doesn't fire again until you let go and that trigger resets. And then you pull it again and pow. There are things called an auto sear that are illegal that you can put into these. And when you pull the trigger, it goes katow, 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 katow until it's out of ammo or you let go of the trigger. A bump stock, also known as a forced reset trigger, puts a device on the back end of the auto sear so that if you push slightly away and pull the trigger, when the stock pulls, it resets the trigger. The recoil forces the trigger to reset, creating something like, but not really, an automatic weapon. It's not
So
automatic.
it comes as close as it
It's
can
it's a
with.
it's it's a modification that can imitate automatic fire if you know what you're doing, if you're properly trained, if you're not over gripping the stock, that kind of stuff.
And why do people want? What's the appeal to the automatics? Of just because it's fun?
Yeah, it is fun. I have to admit that I've done it, and I just I don't understand the drive towards it. I think it has to do with like movies more than
And
anything
video
else.
games.
Video games and movies, right? Intimidation, maybe. a bump stock that serves no hunting purpose that I can think of. It might serve a self-defense purpose, but
Because
probably not.
wasn't the 2A originally for defense than entertainment? Like it
Uh,
wasn't. You can have
no,
guns because they're
2A,
fun.
no. 2A was to prevent enemies from entering our nation unopposed, so
Yeah.
that every asshole with a farm plow can pop a cap at enemies crossing the freaking line before it becomes an issue and warfare, or to hold them off in time for warfare to be joined, right? Minutemen, think Minutemen.
Hmm.
Okay. It was a defense against foreign takeover. But also in the Constitution, it writes in that any law that is tyrannical should not be followed. And there's a lot of people who believe these things apply to stuff like the
Defense.
IRS, for one thing, just as a general broad. I don't ascribe to this myself, but there are people who think that the Constitution should be followed verbatim as it was written then and try to apply it as well as you can to times now. The issue is there's been 270 years or so of freaking uh, case law, and every case law changes the direct effect on the ground in that district differently from case law in other districts. And it's real hard to have one document that covers all of these situations and them all have been handled correctly.
I'm looking at the maps now. It looks like the U.S. is pretty unique in its the
Yeah.
laxity of its gun laws.
Well, no, that's the thing is like Congress shall pass no law.
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that school zones shouldn't be gun free zones. By creating a gun free zone, you create an automatic soft target. Everybody knows where to go to do maximum damage because there are no guns there. If you'd have tried that same shit back in 1953, the shop teacher would have handed out the 22s out of the gun locker and it would have been settled quite succinctly.
And this is like adults with guns, right? Not kids taking guns to school.
Well, I mean, so most schools had gun clubs back in the 40s and 50s. Like almost every high
For the
school.
kid, like the high
Yes,
schoolers?
yes. Hell, it started in middle school, bro. Like gun safety was trained with a wooden gun at your desk. And if you accidentally muzzle flash people, like this was the thing back in the day. Gun safety was taught as part of public school. It's a right, bro. You have the First Amendment, and then you have the Second Amendment to back up the First Amendment. If the First Amendment gets abbreviated, you're supposed to use your Second Amendment to fix it. Who does the First Amendment protect you from?
The government.
Who does the Second Amendment protect you from?
The foreign enemies and
No.
the government.
Congress shall pass no law. Is having the Second Amendment protects our country from foreign invasion. The amendment itself protects the Second Amendment from Congress. A law cannot be passed to abbreviate the Second Amendment because it simply states Congress can't do it. Just can't. No law. None.
I'm looking right now, and they have the Gun Control Act of 1968,
Sure.
which limits it to 18 years. Or so you're saying it's changed from the 40s, but like since at least
Well, I didn't say
1968.
like 40s and 50s specifically. I named that time period because that was when there were more guns in schools than there were in some police departments during that time period. Because it wasn't a situation where a kid brought a gun to school. It would be donated to the school by a parent so that their kid could use it in competition or whatever, practice or whatnot.
Clever, I did a whole stream on this. We actually diagrammed the sentence grammatically. That's not what it says.
Okay, so you are the militia, sir. If you are a person that can stand on 2 feet and hold a firearm and they call up the militia, you should show up. They'll give you a gun when you get there. Don't sweat that part. They'll teach you how to walk and everything. It'll be fine. But you are the militia. Every single red-blooded person that can fire a weapon is the militia.
Yeah, Effigy, you have a point because they were able to pass that Gun Control Act, so obviously they can pass a law.
Gun
It says a
Control Act
well-regulated militia
restricted
being
people
necessary
to,
to the security of a
I
free
think,
state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It doesn't say shall pass no law, but it says the right to keep and
yeah,
bear
shall not be
shall
infringed.
not be infringed.
Um,
But didn't they infringe it when they passed the Gun Control Act?
it limits the age of people who can purchase firearms. That doesn't mean you can't buy a firearm and give it to your child if you
Right,
wish.
because growing up, like my brothers and everybody got guns at a certain age for Christmas. Like it was a tradition, and I know
Hmm.
it was before 18 for hunting.
And they
In
had
fact,
to
I
clean
was
it,
hunting. They probably by like fourth or fifth grade, I was hunting. They took me hunting.
and they had to clean it and put it up, and it had to be there. And if it was ever not there when it was supposed to be there, the explaining that needed to be did, all that cool stuff.
Yeah,
Basic
and
gun
we had gun
safety.
cabinets and like
Right.
all the adults around. They all had guns, and they were all very responsible and safety conscious with the guns.
Well, that's the
Most
thing about
gunners,
this.
gun owners I know are like that.
It doesn't say that the militia has to be well regulated. It says that the well regulated militia being necessary. So, regardless of whether you're part of an organized militia or just a random citizen with a firearm, when they call up the militia, go, or you will be facing prison time. That is felonious. When they call, I mean, I don't see it happening in the modern era. I mean, don't misunderstand. I'm not expecting to have a militia called up tomorrow or nothing like that. But by law,
But
especially in
just in
Georgia,
case we need one,
yeah, no.
it's
If they
there.
call the militia, every single one of you purple haired bull ring wearing freaking fruits needs to
Hey, I
show
used to
up.
have purple hair.
Yeah,
Do
it's
you
fine. I love it.
do you think that's one of the reasons like we haven't been invaded, like ground invasions
Oh
yet?
God,
Because
yes. Tojo. Well, who was it? Tojo. I think it was Tojo in World War II said that attacking America would be waking a sleeping giant,
yeah,
and the general was like, "We can just march on them," and he said, "In America, there will be a gun behind every blade of grass. A gun behind every blade of grass," and that's not correct. But at the same time, we have collectors, and if the shit hits the fan, those collectors will disseminate their guns. It will happen. They are Second Amendment absolutists, and that's the purpose of the Second Amendment. You're, they're not going to miss that opportunity to see all of their wonderful guns in use.
hopefully they'll hand out some good training with that too. Because I would not trust myself with a gun, or some other people I know.
Give me 2.5 hours with you on a private range.
2.5 weeks, bus maybe.
Well,
I have a
I mean,
very steep learning curve when
I
it
would
comes
have to
to
observe
physical.
you.
Ask Moose; he's been training me on the video game.
I would have to observe how you like do little things like move your hands. Like once you've got the
I have
gun, are you
dyspraxia.
terrified? Or I'm just saying, I'd have to observe you before I determine, how long of a.
Most people that have observed me have said, "Don't let Jeff anywhere near a gun."
I had a
Most
buddy.
people that have observed me in a kitchen and watch how I use a can opener said, "Don't let Jeff anywhere near a gun."
So what would you say it is? I should pack you a slingshot for the apocalypse.
What are the other options? Is there like
We can get you a
spears? Maybe I
boomerang.
could throw a spear.
Get you a baseball.
Yeah, maybe or grenade. I don't even trust myself. I don't know.
No,
We'll come up with something. I don't think the
I
gun
can't
is
give
the
you a
right weapon.
grenade. No, sir. We'll get you a slingshot. I think that's safe
Okay.
enough. Maybe an addle.
Yeah, I could do that or a boomerang. Well, I'll do my part some kind of way.
Yeah, I mean, and I get hanging up on the well-regulated concept. They're not saying that the people you give the guns to should be well regulated because they never said anything about giving
Right.
out.
He's saying it's clear, but it's not
You
clear at all. They just
purchase
say
your own guns.
that's the reason for this amendment.
You purchase your own guns, and when the time of a militia comes up and you're called up, you have the guns to utilize in the militia. It will then be well regulated once it's been assembled.
Right. That's
But as
separate
far
from the right that shall not be infringed.
let's run this by a different way. Let's go at it from a different perspective. So guns are terribly dangerous. Can we agree on that? Crazy people are terribly dangerous. Is that also true?
Can be, yeah.
Can be, yeah. All right. So we're in a country that has more guns than people. And yet you don't have the roving bands of raiders that you would expect to have in a completely lawless land. You get what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Nobody who owns a firearm is going next door with their gun to go dominate somebody else. And that doesn't happen because they probably got a gun too, but that's not why it doesn't happen. It's because of respect and we're all the same country and we're all just getting along and everything. Criminals. You know who do that kind of thing? Criminals.
Right.
Criminals do that kind of thing and they get guns criminally. So all the gun control you put on everything will have zero effect on criminals because they were criminals before you laid the gun control down. It's not going to change just because you pass a law against it. So
most of the gun violence is the intersection of the crazy people with the guns. And it seems to be a very small number.
It is unfortunate that in this nation, it is easier for a unbalanced mind to acquire a firearm than in others, possibly. But if you look in other nations, the amount of knife crime goes up exactly the same amount of crime that gun crime goes down. And yet the knife crime becomes mass stabbings. You ever heard of a mass stabbing? That shit
they
ain't
had
gonna
one
happen
in China recently.
But it ain't going to happen in America because the third sucker he pokes is going to shoot.
Right.
He might get two.
Is there clever? Is there something about MAGA in particular, whatever that is, that makes it dangerous? I think you're just a MAGA hater. You're a bigot toward MAGA.
He's doing that racist thing where he hates red. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll just let those people talk until they prove exactly what they are.
MAGA is the new gay.
Well, I am a sprinkly toed fairy, my son.
Okay.
Welcome to the club.
Let's get this guy's opinion. Hello.
What's this? Gentlemen,
Do you
what's
own
up?
guns?
Yes, yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm in Virginia, man. We got this is open carry state, so you could just open carry a firearm without a permit. But if you have to conceal it, you have to have a concealed weapons permit, of course, to conceal it. But yeah, you can open carry in this state, so you have carte blanche. It's funny because growing up in New York, the thing is people would come to Virginia to buy guns because it was so easy to get them. Like way back in the day. We're talking about like the late 80s, you know.
Oh, that's the day.
Yeah.
Are you do you open carry?
I conceal. I don't open, I conceal.
You have the permit?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just, people, and the thing is that if I see somebody with a firearm, like let's say in Walmart, right? Or if I see somebody at 7-Eleven with a firearm, I feel comfortable. I don't
even look. I don't even pay attention to who has it. I wouldn't notice them probably if they had, unless it was like strapped to their back or something. I don't even pay attention to that.
But should there be a psych evaluation for a gun owner? I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea because I worked with some people that probably should not have had a firearm. They were nuts. I'm like, nuts as in like they were out there. With their views and
what's that eliminate some people from being police though? If you had to have a psych evaluation, wouldn't Sasquatch,
you want to keep it out of the hands of the high risk crazy people though?
Sasquatch, this guy's telling me, he goes, I carry, in my load as in your magazine, I carry two hollow points first. So if I have to shoot the guy through the windshield, then I can unload the. I'm like, what are you talking about? No
showing gun. He's not showing it on the stream. Do not show a gun on this stream.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I have a beautiful custom AR-15. It's gorgeous. That's all desert camoed out. I got the tri-sights on, the laser sights. it's nice. And I like Glock. Glock is my favorite handgun. That's my favorite. So
and
Glock
welcome
17.
NeuroJack. I see your pack.
I'm going to upset you with a couple of words I'm going to say now. Kalashnikov and Makarov.
AK-47.
And the little tiny Parabellum 9, the little one.
Remember the five? What was it? 5.7 Makarov, or is that the?
No, not that small. This is a 9. It's a 9. It's just a short 9.
Yeah. And, Jeff, you should think about owning a firearm. And the thing is that but you can go to.
I do not trust myself with a firearm.
You can go to classes. They can teach you, safety and how to shoot and stuff like that.
I've been shooting for the good of everybody. I think the responsible thing for me to do would be to not attempt to own a firearm.
It would be good just to have a 22 or something, because
gays with guns.
I have a Ruger 22 long rifle. It's a great gun. And you hunt small game with it. It's a little 22 long rifle.
I mean, even like a handgun for him, because it would be more like, it'd be less scary, and I think also, like, at least you'd have something if worse comes to worse,
I'm not scared of the gun. I'm scared of me with the gun. Everybody else should be the one scared.
I can respect that. That makes sense to me. If you personally feel uncomfortable holding a gun, having a gun, being in the presence of a gun, that's your choice.
I have dyspraxia. It's a coordination issue with like fine motor coordination. It's a brain processing thing. I would not be a safe person to hand a gun to.
Well,
for that reason.
That's your choice.
If you have a problem with like aim or putting a bullet on target, shotgun
coordination.
Shotgun would be good for you.
Manipulating mechanical devices. Hey,
he would talk with the gun in his hand while trying to explain stuff and scratching his scalp.
Let me tell you something. You're not going to come in here.
Do you remember do you remember when the Black Lives Matters folks tried to break into that gated community and the two folks were standing outside? All right. He's the chick. Who's over there trying to describe different people, calling freaking police while she's brandishing a pistol.
I would do this. I would have done the same thing. If someone's going to try to break into my house, I'm going to defend my property. I would do the same exact thing.
I want a mace. I want like a spiked club or something. I can just knock them the minute they get in the door.
Something like this. Something along these lines.
Well, that's why I have a Froggy Rittenhouse on my picture here. The Rittenhouse case. An important.
Listen,
case.
if you want something less lethal, just get one of the large cans of bear mace.
Yeah, I used to carry pepper spray. I could do pepper spray.
All right,
don't get
flashback. Careful with the bear spray, man. If you're in a room when you set that shit off, you just floored everybody in the room.
Oh yes.
You got to be outside.
I know my pepper spray busted open in my pants and leaked all over my balls, and it burned.
Son,
hurt.
I still have. I carry mace. It's basically OC gas, and it's strong, man. You put a little bit out, and everybody's like choking up, and it's wild.
I still feel safer than that with the gun.
I gotta go, y'all.
Maybe bear mace is a good compromise.
And they sell, and they're really effective pepper ball guns. It's a gun.
Oh yeah, but like paintball stuff. I think I could do
pepper ball,
laser tag, that kind of stuff.
They look like paintballs, but they're actually
pepper spray.
OC gas or pepper spray, and they're in little.
Give me a paint. I'd feel a lot better with a paintball gun. There we go.
Yeah, and I'm
in the militia. Yay. With colored paintballs.
And they use those. Some police departments use those. So there's less. There's 40 mics. There's the beanbag, the shotgun with the beanbag, and then they also have the pepper ball guns. And then they blow up on you. Like, in other words, if you're trying to keep distance from somebody, like if you pepper spray somebody, Jeff, you have to be up close to them. You have to be real close to them to pepper spray somebody. But the pepper ball guns, you can be far away and still hit them with the pepper gel. Or pepper spray or OC gas, whatever it is. You could be far away from them and still bang them. And they hit you, and it goes. You see poof. You see like you can see like the gas.
Perfect.
It goes poof.
I want a gun that goes poof.
It goes poof because they're little balls, right? And they hit you, and then you just see all the dust, the cloud, and it's pepper spray, but they can get you from like across the parking lot.
I want
You know,
one
if you're
that
not,
shoots colors, different colors.
you
Like
could.
puts colored dye all over people.
You should get the little joke one that got a little transgender flag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. And Jeff, do you know there's pepper spray that has actually what is it called? IV dye. It has a dye in it. So when you pepper spray somebody, they can use like a light to see if it's weird. It's like there's different kinds of.
I want something that when I shoot it, it makes someone look as gay as possible.
Well, so I want to tell two little things really quick. Before I forget what.
Oh, and Jack, your audio's doing its thing again. It's roboting a bit.
Maybe they can make like a rainbow paintball gun. You know, just
They have,
like
but don't paintballs come in different colors?
They do.
Okay, how about?
I'm just thinking of someone just shooting, going.
I don't know how safe Moose feels with all these guns around today.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to have your antlers make you a target.
People here.
Oh man.
But people here open carry all the time. They'll shoot a deer in your backyard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I told you we hunt off of my brother-in-law's land. He lives down in North Carolina. We hunt off his land, but because it's closer proximity to other people's homes, we bow hunt. We use a bow hunt.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Well,
I did archery at 4-H camp. I might be better with that than a gun.
He's really good. He's part Native American. He's really he can he just lets it fly. And those arrowheads, man, those things look like something from. Remember Phantasm, where that little ball would fly and the blades would come out? It's like, yo, those arrowheads are like they will shred something. But you have to be able to track the animal, because if you don't get the animal on a perfect K word, I don't want to say the word, a perfect K word where you get him in an artery or something like that, you have to track the animal, because the animal can basically be gone half a mile. You have to be able to track it, and then you have to bring it back. You know, so when you're hunting with a firearm, and if you get a clean shot, usually the animal will drop within 50 yards, something like that. But if you're bow hunting, you have to track it sometimes. You have to go find where it went, because you hit them and they jump up in the air and then they'll run off. And you got to go find the animal. But I can tell you this, I've never hunted anything. I've hunted in my life so many times. My uncle is a big hunter. Upstate New York, we've never hunted anything we didn't eat. You always ate it. Like you always had to consume part of the animal.
Yeah, that's why I don't hunt, because I know I'm not going to eat any of it. If we could hunt cows, I might be out hunting. But
yeah, yep. Thanksgiving's coming up, so I'm looking forward to it. He's gonna come down because he has a big farm out there, and he's gonna.
Oh, you're gonna kill your own turkey?
Yeah, he has geese, turkeys. They have goats, but I mean, yeah, they have.
Oh, don't kill the goats!
Dude.
I'm gonna protect. That's what I need a gun for, to defend the goats.
Yeah, goat is so good. It's really, really good. But you have to season it right. It's like.
I wouldn't eat a goat. As a Satanist, I would feel bad about eating a goat.
Yeah,
I could do that to a little bath.
It is what it is. It's delicious though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, on the whole gun control thing, I think it's a interesting topic because, you know, like for me, I had a interesting experience today, for example, where, you know, someone's doing something that's bad behavior. You kind of say, hey, like, do you want to correct that behavior? And they like turn out to be a crazy person, right? And you know.
Wait, hold on, Karen. What are you doing going around correcting people's behavior? What behavior were they doing?
Well, they were letting their dog poop where kids are playing, basically. And I was like, I asked a question. I said, "Are you gonna pick it up?" And they basically acted like they were going to, you know, start something physical over it.
Did they say they were going to pick it up, or did they pick it up?
Well, they said, "Yeah, I'll pick it up," and then they said, "Fuck you, blah blah blah, get the fuck out of here, blah blah." So like they switched up very quickly.
So you were policing the dog park. I can't think of anything more.
Well, it's not a dog park. This is where people live. This is at like a place people live. So
Yeah, you
And
stepping in shit stuff. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
yeah, and again, well, like I was like a dick about it. I was just like very politely like, "Hey, are you gonna pick it up?" Because they were obviously like not going to, right? So that's kind of why I said something. But I thought it was like a, just a normal thing to do. Like it's like, kind of like if a person comes and takes a dump right in front of your door, you're like, okay, so you know, like, well, what are you gonna do?
It's funny, real quick. I had canvassers. People that come out and they knock on your door. They try to get you to vote for certain people, right? The political canvassers. They're paid people to come out. Hey, vote for this person. And someone from down the street. I live in a nice neighborhood. Someone from down the street. Their dog got loose, and it's this big pit bull, and it was like chasing people. And I'm not putting down pit bulls. I'm just saying, but it was like chasing people around. And I came out and she banged on my door. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? There's a dog. I said, come inside. She came inside, stood, in my vestibule right inside. I went outside and I was ready to go. I had my rifle. I was ready to go. That dog was like trying to bite people, so it is dangerous. Animal owners need to check their animals. I've been an animal owner for almost half my life. But yeah, no, you're right. But like, dogs pooping everywhere, the dog. It's not here, but I remember I lived somewhere else in Virginia Beach. I remember like someone's walking their dog, right? The dog just takes a shit in my yard, and they just walk off. I'm like, yo, pick that up, man. What are you doing?
Right.
It's
well, no, that's basically what happened here, and the point is like, like it used to be normal that if you see someone kind of like doing something out of the ordinary that's not like the right thing to do, you kind of politely call them out, you have a conversation about it. It doesn't like escalate into like a big issue, but this person is like trying to escalate it into like, a physical altercation, and I'm like, dude, kids play right where you're doing that, and somebody's already done it 3 times, so like, and he's just like obviously trying to like instigate me to do something, and I'm like, well, first of all, that's not going to go very well for you, but second of all, like, if you're that crazy, like, I'm not going to do that, because obviously you're going to not think about the repercussions of what you're trying to do. So, and again, this is kind of why it's dangerous to carry a gun, because it's like, now the responsibility carries upon you to show restraint, and you know what I'm saying. And so then that's the difficult part about a lot of this, and that's why I have a picture of the little Rittenhouse, because it's a good example of like where it doesn't matter your intent; it only matters what happens for the most part. I mean, intent does matter, but it's hard to measure, right? So
well, in law enforcement training, they tell you if you have to pull your service weapon or pull a firearm, it's to secure a scene, it's to save lives and things like that. But one thing they would teach civilians is that if you're going to pull that firearm, you better be ready to use it. If you're going to pull it, you better be ready, because people will pull it and not use it. They'll freeze, and someone will take it from you. It's dangerous. You got to be ready to use it.
Right. Well, but then you have to be ready for like the years of trial and years in prison and all the other stuff, because that's the thing, is like, it's always murky. Not always, but it's usually like a murky situation you'll find yourself in, where, could it be politicized? Could it, I mean, look at the Rittenhouse thing, it turned into a whole First Amendment, question of like, not First Amendment, Second Amendment, issue. And, I mean, did he have the right to be there is totally different than did he have the right to defend himself? You know what I mean? And
Mike, what gun are you using in Call of Duty for your character?
Me, I don't play video games.
Oh, well, they have a character available of you that
looks just play. That looks just like me. Oh my god,
Nazir.
Yeah, that's so funny. It looks just like me. I look Arab, like I'm Saudi
Well,
Arabian.
aren't you Moorish?
I'm Moorish, yes. I'm
less is more, or
Sicilian African. But what I carry, it's a great. I love it. I love everyday. People talk about everyday carries. What do you carry on you every day? And I usually carry a very, very, very sharp knife, and it's not large. It's a folding knife, but it's like razor sharp. and then I carry usually a. Go ahead.
Like one of those butterfly knives.
What?
Not a butterfly knife. I have a John Wick automatic knife. You go and it pops up. This is just a folding knife. You know, you pop it up.
What brand and model, if you don't mind me asking?
I gotta check. I have so many knives, dude. I gotta go find it and tell you. I can't remember what brand it is. Dude, I have so much gear. It's ridiculous.
What kind of piece though?
Okay, say it again.
Oh, what kind of fire?
Usually, I usually will just, like, I love my Glock 17 and my Glock 22, but they're large frames. So if I want to carry something inconspicuous, I usually carry my Kimber.
Sorry, I just said you're a man of class. You have a 17. That's rare. Most people don't have a 17.
My 17 is Gen 2, so it's a second generation. It was issued to me when I was in law enforcement. That was my service weapon, and I still have it because when you leave, you can buy it. You can buy it from the department. That 17 is the best firearm I've ever had. Is that 17? So Jeff, it's a Glock 17. It's a 9mm, 17 in the clip. You could carry one in the chambers. You have 18 rounds of 9mm. And then I carry 2 extra mags. So you had a lot of firepower.
And is this when you leave your house just to go to the grocery store? You have
no. I barely carry. I carry only if I'm going out late at night or if I have something that I feel like. You ever get like a feeling like I might want to put something on my hip? Like I just feel kind of weird, you know.
Never.
If I'm meeting somebody new or I'm selling something.
I mean, I have definitely felt weird, but
because I buy and sell gold. I buy and sell gold, so if I buy and sell gold, I will carry something on me. I will.
Oh,
so I'm not going to get taken advantage of.
That's I don't have anything to steal. Maybe I don't have that psychology.
Yeah, but I usually carry what's called an Ultra Carry 2. It's a Kimber 45. It's a little Kimber Ultra Carry 22. I'm sorry, I'm missing words up. But it's an Ultra Carry Kimber, and it's a 45. It's only 8 shots, but it's a 45 caliber. So if you hit one, someone's not getting back up from a 45. But the thing is that, you just have to be safe out there. And firearm safety is important. And Jeff, if you're not comfortable, if you know in your heart that you're not comfortable.
But I don't ever feel in danger either walking around.
Yeah.
In Seattle, you don't feel in danger? Really?
No. I never have. I'm pretty oblivious to danger, though. I don't have a strong fear response. I've walked through many dangerous situations and not even realized I was that they were dangerous. So I may be in more danger than I subjectively am able to detect. But walking around my neighborhood and walking to the store, I don't feel like I'm in danger of anything.
My city is one of the safest in Tidewaters. I live in Virginia Beach. It's super, super safe. But growing up in New York City, growing up in Rockaway, Queens, it was super dangerous. So I think I have that in the back of my mind just to always watch your back, always kind of be aware of your surroundings. So, it's nice to grow up somewhere or be somewhere where it's safe. But if I'm handling money, if I have a couple $1,000 or something like that on me, or if I have like some gold pieces, I'm going to carry something on my hip because I'm not going to be taken.
What do you think about the comment down there? It says if you have someone monitoring your dog's pooping habits, they're definitely a Trump supporter, and they want to regulate your daughter's.
This is a troll. He's been trolling all day.
Yeah, that's a disgusting comment. Honestly, to see the last word he put.
No, but here's my Cash App. If you want to send me some, I'll have $10 after you send it.
The guy was saying,
you got to put the 2.
That person was talking about someone's kid's private parts. That's gross. That's disgusting. Yeah, there's disgusting people.
Well,
I was on. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just saying it's just funny. It's like the politically charged stuff that comes out of nowhere is like insane. Like crazy.
People have to get over it. Trump won. It is what it is. And I think that we're going to have a nice, it's not going to be easy, but I think he'll turn it around. Did you see that there was Border Patrol agents that were going to retire that renewed their contracts to stay in because Trump is the president? They were going to leave because of Biden. Because in other words, with the open borders, the Border Patrol agents are like, this is just ridiculous. This is stupid. They'll go local PD. So if you're a Border Patrol agent and you're certified law enforcement, you can change departments. You can go different places. Go ahead.
Well, you reminded me of what I wanted to talk about. So, like, here's the thing about the whole gun control thing. Like, I am generally, and see, this is where people are going to get mad because they're going to say there's always a racial component to it, and there is. I mean, we have to be honest that, in general, white folks don't go around shooting each other. I mean, that's just a fact. We just don't do that. And the inner cities are kind of packed with people who are
brown,
more violent, and then for whatever reason, yeah, they happen to not look a certain way, and so like whites and Asians generally have the lowest, Hispanics after that, and then from there.
But isn't that more cultural than the
Well,
color, like how
whatever
much
it is,
melanin you have in your skin or not?
whatever it is, my point is that gun control does work if you isolate it to certain places. The problem is that those are some of the people that need it the most as well. And I think that some of the points that Sasquatch made about that gun control doesn't really work. It does. I kind of agree. I think it's a thing, and I was kind of curious to hear from Mike because he's former law enforcement. Like some of his opinions about like the fact,
Sure.
like you said, we just have an open border. We have drugs everywhere. There's a lot of young kids that are obviously on the wrong path, and like I just see that either they're going to be subdued with video games and fentanyl, or there's going to be an ultra violent reckoning. And I hope I'm wrong.
What kind of violent reckoning?
Yeah, well, I mean, we could be heading towards something like not a civil war, but people really kind of
Oh my
acting out
God!
and
No, we're
slapping.
not.
No, hear me out, Jeff. Not a civil war, but people just like flipping out and feeling emboldened to act like maniacs, and we see it. It's almost like that movie, with the guy with the crazy mask, with the mustache. It's like anarchy. Like people are anarchists, and because what's happening is that this last administration was tying law enforcement's hands. They couldn't act, and they were afraid to act. I think with the new administration, I think Trump's going to embolden police and federal and to, really crack down on crime, and he's vowing to stop a lot of the tariffs that they were doing and the BS that they were doing. And he might bring back, was it stop and frisk and stuff like that. That was in New York. That was a big thing. Growing up in New York, stop and frisk. A cop can walk up. You could be walking down the street. A cop will walk up and go, stop. You're not doing anything, but he could frisk you.
I thought they could already. It's the frisk part because I thought a cop could already stop you.
Well, and the thing is this. I mean, again, this comes back to things that people don't talk about. And like, look, I believe in the Constitution, but the Constitution only works when people generally are following the normal rules of engagement in a society, right? The point is like, people are not really doing that anymore in Seattle, San Francisco, LA, New York, Miami, and almost any city over the population of like a couple 100,000. I mean, you have like roving gangs of just people who are willing to do some things. Now, of course, they're not escalating in violence for the most part, just because most people are kind of like weak-willed, simple people. And so I guess people say, well, it could be a lot worse. And yeah, it could be. But the point is like, unless you're just going to wait for these people to die out because they don't have kids, I mean, which doesn't seem to be happening. How do we kind of like handle this kind of problem? People that think it's not a problem. I mean,
you don't handle law enforcement problems. You let law enforcement handle law enforcement.
Well, my point is like they've been hindered for at least 10 years from doing their job, and so now you have 10 years of kids growing up in an environment where they don't have consequence. And like I could tell you, like where I live at, the kids who are like 14, 15 are walking around with guns, like they don't care.
Yeah.
So
I mean, back in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, like early 2000s, we were pulling guns off of 12-year-olds. That back then, I mean, and it's fun. I mean, there was no body cameras and stuff like that. Did we do things that maybe we shouldn't have? Like, in other words, grabbing somebody and checking them? We did, but we pulled guns off of people. This kid has a gun on. He's in junior high school and is walking around with a gun. And that's dangerous because they don't have the ability to make right decisions.
I know. I've taught at schools with the gun detectors that the kids had to go through before they got into the school.
I want to respond to this comment. It said 99.9% of whites, of serial killers are white, and gun violence is exaggerated and blah, blah, blah. So, like, okay, so why does everybody want the right to live next to white people, yet we're so
Keep in mind, this is our
dangerous? And I know, but I'm just saying it's ironic because, like,
sure.
they are obviously like promoting the very propaganda that, you know, is fueling this kind of stuff where people like grow up saying, oh, white people just hate brown people or blah blah blah. It's like that's not true whatsoever, and everybody knows that, but they shut up.
It's funny because somebody accused me of being, not liking minorities. I have mixed children, so it's like, what are you talking about? It's I mean, my family, it's like I
Effigy, he was
it's like,
responding to a comment, so whoever was the comment was making it racial. Quit putting it on
and
NeuroJack.
I think the biggest thing to trigger people, and they do two things, and this is what I've learned on YouTube. They talk about your family and they talk about racial issues, and that's how they try to trigger you
And they
into
lie
getting
on you.
upset. And they
That's what triggers me,
elevated.
when people lie or try to control freak other people.
I was on a panel the other night, a couple nights ago, and they were taking my children's pictures and making them their avatars and saying disgusting things to try to trigger
How did they
me.
get your children's pictures?
Off of Facebook.
Oh my god! So they go to your Facebook you
But
don't have
see,
that
what's
private?
is like these people call you a Fed or a cop or whatever, and then they say, I'm scared of the Feds, but then they do things to antagonize as a quote unquote whatever they love. And that's what's kind of strange, like, you know.
Anybody who goes and takes your children's pictures and puts them as
I
their
agree.
avatars,
That's scumbag.
but then says disgusting things and said he
I'm
hopes
surprised
my
you don't
son,
have that on private yet.
I like it because I track them and I know who they are.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I track them, and so I expose everybody. I know exactly who this person is. They've already lost their job because of it, and I didn't call. Someone else did because they were talking about they wish my son would K-word himself, and I guess somebody got really mad about it, and I was very upset.
That's what they do. They get you upset.
Yeah, you can't break my will. But it's funny that I'm the one person, Jeff, that they can't break me. I'm continually just going and going and going.
What do you think about you that triggers them? Because I've noticed that, like, I do that to people too. Like, if you talk, like, whatever it is that I say or talk about, like, it makes.
I think it's more about them than anything about.
Well, definitely, but it seems to be something about certain.
I don't think it is, because they have people on their side that they're friends with and they talk to and support all the time that does the same things they accuse of Mike doing and even worse, but they don't do anything to those people. So it seems very arbitrary and subjective to whoever that particular troll is.
I think that people are what's that term, Jeff, where people like to torture people?
Sadist?
Masochist, something like that.
Well, they're that too, but because they expose themselves to it for 24 hours a day too. Sadomasochism, it's one thing.
It's funny because I'm the one person they've been attacking me for years, and it doesn't bother me. I mean, I'll get upset once in a while when people say really disgusting things. I don't like, and they were talking about my passed away parents and stuff like that, and it's just like, it's like, oof, it's like. But imagine somebody that is sitting there behind a screen laughing about your passed away relatives and your children K-wording themselves. These are very mentally disturbed
They are
people.
sick people. I agree. They do the same
very
thing with
mentally
me.
disturbed.
I have
Jeff,
some that follow me.
Jeff, you probably know me for over 6 months now. I mean, I've been on you for a little while.
I wouldn't want to calculate, but something like that.
But I have never said anything like that on your panel. I've never said I want your kid to K-word themselves. I've never talked about R-word. I've never said,
exactly what T-Ball says right here. Once you identify those people, just stay out of their way. Leave them alone.
Well, the problem is that they follow you. They follow you around, and
they don't come here.
They don't. But I was on another panel that's very popular, and then the mods were allowing it to happen. And I kept saying to the mods,
that panel.
I'm not. It sucks because I love that panel. But I'm like, mods, can you please stop this, please? And they're just like, ha ha ha, you P-word. I'm like, okay, that's cool. You enjoy. But because all I'm trying to say is this: whatever you believe in life, it's going to come back on them. I mean, but anybody who has people's children's pictures in their phone and downloading it online should be locked up in prison. That's disgusting. That's gross. You're putting people's children's pictures as your avatar, talking about.
Report them to YouTube.
I did.
Like that. That is YouTube is the final authority here. They're the cops. If people are doing something against terms of service, YouTube is the person to take it to.
I just think it's disgusting. And then, like I told you, Jeff, the other time, I'm sorry to overtalk everybody. I apologize, gentlemen. I'll drop back in a second because I'm not talking a lot. I've learned the one thing about YouTube or this experience is I've learned so much about other people and myself. I never knew the world was this dark. I never knew. I always try to have blinders on, Jeff, and think the best of people. I've met some crappy people, but these people are disgusting. Talking about go have relations with your passed away relatives.
Okay, I don't want to hear all that. We know the story, we know the narrative. I'm surprised it took YouTube to show, like, make you see how awful people can be. Because I knew it way before I came on YouTube.
I guess it was a crash course, and yeah, it is what it is. I'm sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Oh, well, that's just your opinion, Binks, because I've seen stuff from other people way worse than anything I've seen from Mike. So we're using different data, different facts. Mm-hmm. You have a narrative built around different facts than I do. Because if you looked at my facts, they're way worse than what people say Mike does.
Yeah. The only thing I do is attack back when I'm attacked, and I attack the person.
But I don't want. This is not the Mike Drama Show, so let's move on. We were talking about other topics. I don't know how I got on this, and it looks like the trolls are here. I'm going to start timing out and banning. Where's my mods? I know y'all like to find. Y'all go in Discord. You wait for someone to say, "Oh, Mike's on a panel," and then y'all all swarm the panel and try to get your digs in at Mike and confront him. That's not what this space is for. Binks, you're timed out. If you keep talking about Mike, you're going to be banned permanently. Bones, I don't care about what happens on other panels. I only care about what happens on my panel. And so on my panel, I'm fine. I've shown people facts from other people, and it's fallen on deaf ears. So people want to come here and have this list of facts about Mike. I don't know what they want me to do. I guess they want him canceled. But when I do the same thing to other people, I get crickets. So stop being hypocrites. Grow up. Be adults. Handle your shit, and don't take it to my panel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're trying to get you angry.
Clever.
Yeah.
This is your final warning, too. No, you're fine, T-Ball. It's the usual trolls that come here. This is the Mike Hate Brigade. They're not here for
I'll tell you who purposes. It is if you want. I'll tell you who it is if you want. If you
I want the topic to move on.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it's and the whole thing. Did you see the UFC fight where Trump was at? Trump came in with Elon Musk at the UFC fight, and he got like a standing ovation from the whole place.
Is that the Mike Tyson one?
No, it's a UFC fight. It was I think it was from yesterday. But yeah, people were just going crazy when he came in, like a superstar. He was with Dana White, he was with Elon Musk, and he was with Robert F. Kennedy. He was, so he put Kennedy in his cabinet. He put Tulsi Gabbard in his cabinet, and these are Democrats.
Well, he nominated them. They're not in yet.
Oh, they're in, dude. Trust me, they're in.
Well, they still have to go through the confirmation hearing.
I want to see who his speaker is going to be. I want to see who the Speaker of the House is going to be. That's what I'm.
You don't think it's going to be Mike Johnson still?
I don't know.
And welcome.
I don't know.
Well, Trump doesn't pick the speaker. The speaker is picked by the House specifically.
Right. I don't know why they wouldn't keep Mike Johnson.
Did you guys know this? And Joe probably knows this. And Jeff, I'm sure you know this. Do you know that the Speaker of the House can become the president and never be elected?
Yeah, they're like the third in line or something.
Yeah. So if the president, and vice president, so if the president and vice president were like in the same area, and then like they blew up or something, or a hole in the ground opened beneath them, and they went, ah.
Yeah. Who was your Joe? Who was your favorite Speaker of the House in your lifetime? Do you have a favorite Speaker of the House?
Oh gosh, man, I don't think we've had, because in my lifetime that's going back to the Bush senior years. So, what before that it was the speaker was
Newt Gingrich was one.
Newt Gingrich, and then Dennis Hastert, and then Pelosi, and then what? Then Boehner, then
Oh, I remember Boehner.
Paul Ryan, and then
it switched. Kevin McCarthy, was it McCarthy?
Yeah.
then it had a lot of turnover.
Growing up, we took a field trip to D.C. and Tip O'Neill came in the lobby where we were touring the Capitol. We got a picture with Tip O'Neill. It's in our family photo album.
That's a tough one because I mean, I think our speakers have been worse than our presidents while I've been alive.
I think Newt Gingrich was my favorite. Newt was really, really good. And you ever see the SNL sketch where Chris Farley plays him on the freaking the floor? He's impersonating Newt Gingrich, and Newt Gingrich is right next to him. You never seen that SNL sketch?
I've never seen.
Oh
that.
my!
I'm sure I have, but it doesn't stick.
It's hilarious. Yep. I got to see Obama one time. He was in the hotel, and he wasn't president yet, but we were up in Richmond for Toyota training, and he was in the hotel. It was a fancy hotel, and he just came down and was, hey everybody, and he was, hey, I didn't talk to him. We just saw him from across the room, but I did actually physically see Obama.
But yeah. I did work on a security detail when he came to the University of North Carolina. The Secret Service asked the ROTC program to assist in the security for basically watching the sidewalks along the street where his motorcade would drive, because he was going to do this after giving a speech at one of the large auditorium halls. He was going to drive to another building where they did a special taping of Late Night with Jimmy Fallon on campus instead of at the normal studio. And so while he was going there, he drove behind me. And so I didn't really see him, but I did see the motorcade.
Yeah, pretty wild.
I saw Obama speak at Harvey's Casino right behind Hard Rock Casino a couple of years ago. Me and my wife went. It was pretty cool. He's a very eloquent speaker. A lot of bullshit, but yeah.
Charismatic bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Joe, do you have any problems to solve while you're here?
One sec, Jeff.
Wait, hang on. Let Moose finish up. Go ahead.
I'm having a pretty.
Wait, hang on, Moose. Moose wasn't finished. I didn't realize. I jumped in. Go ahead.
Okay.
There was F-16s in the air. There were snipers on the roof. You had to go through 3 or 4 metal detectors to get into it. And I remember walking out the back door to get to my car, and the Secret Service slapped me in the chest and told me I had to walk around.
They slapped you in the chest. Why couldn't they just say, hey, don't come this way?
Well, because they were going to shoot me if they were basically going to shoot me if I went any farther.
Damn.
So some kids need to
get shot. They could have put sides.
Back in my day, kids used to get shot, and nobody cried about it.
Well,
I've seen
so many. Go ahead.
I've seen Air Force One a few times because I'm by Oceana Military Base, and who was it? Was it Trump or was it Obama? I think it was Trump.
And Joe, what were you going to say?
I was bullshitting. I wasn't saying anything for real.
Oh, I thought you had a problem.
No, I don't have a. Oh no, I don't have a problem.
We need people with problems. Does anybody have a problem today?
I came in because you were guys topic change, and I'm like, hey, I'm a topic changer.
Well, what? Okay, that's a problem we were having. The topic.
Yeah,
there's a problem.
Been on the submarine since we sank it the last time.
You sank the sub sank. So someone said there was people in there putting swastikas on the sub.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was driving the submarine, and all of a sudden I get off of the terminal and I look over and there's a big old swastika on the wall. Somebody had taken the time to put that on the wall with wire, and I was like, okay.
One of the players, the random players that.
Yeah, one of the.
It was a false flag operation by Not Laws. That's what it was.
And then
Not Laws. It was probably a mission.
The weird
I've never seen.
Somebody left because they thought that I endorsed, the Nazis. And I didn't even know what was going on because I was trying to steer the ship.
I just wonder how many mooses are out there with top hats like that. That's fancy.
I know.
Fancy
I wouldn't shoot a moose with a top hat.
Would you shoot any animal?
No, I'm just saying if I were a hunter and like a deer or a moose showed up with a top hat, that would make me not shoot them.
Jeff, how
I don't even kill the bug. I throw the bugs outside. I don't even kill bugs.
I do. So if I have a bug now, like if it's like a water bug, like those big nasty water bugs,
I will kill a mosquito.
I usually will I'll get it with the vacuum cleaner. I'll shoot them in the vacuum cleaner. But like if it's like a little beetle, I'll pick them up in like a little piece of tissue and I'll put them outside.
Yeah, that's all I do. I pick them up with a piece of tissue and throw them outside.
I try to save bugs a lot, but often they get themselves killed anyway. So
I think that in Tibet they can't even kill. They think everything is sacred. I think they can't even kill insects. I think they have to move them. I think. I mean, I think it's the Tibetans, the Dalai Lama. They believe every life is sacred.
I just don't want the guilt. I just don't want that in my conscience. I smushed a spider today.
I think it's funny how
I tell you one thing. I do hate flies. I will kill a fly. I hate flies because they're like on your arm and shit.
It's too much work to kill them. I hate chasing them down. I just shoo them away and leave them alone.
What were you
gonna say, Joe?
To get rid of a fly, what you do? Here's a problem. You guys can use this. It's more helpful if it's kind of late in the day, but you just turn off the light in the room that they're on, and then you just have the light source be where you want them to go until you can get them to go out.
Even that sounds like work.
I know. God forbid people work in this country.
Well, to kill fly, it's like it's risk management and return on investment. Is the effort you put into it worth the result?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I could
just do if I see a fly, I can just do this. Look, it takes the split second to do that, and it goes away. I don't have to get up, turn off all the lights, go wait for it to come to the light, try to catch it while it's flying around, then go back and turn all the lights on. I'm already exhausted.
It's like flies are like YouTube trolls. They just keep coming back to bother you. Like,
we're getting
they kind of are.
We're getting back to that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad I have my mod team of demon troll.
I got when it's summertime, we get a lot of flies because I have a big garden. We get a lot of flies. I get those. You ever see those things where, it looks like a shotgun shell, kind of, and you pull it and it goes, and it's the glue, the yellow.
I've
glue.
seen the strips, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
They came in
That's
shotgun
what I'm talking
shells.
About. And then if it looks like that when you and then you open the little red tab and you pull it and it spins up. But it's funny because every time you try to open it, the glue gets on your hand. You're pulling it off your hand. But then you
be good with that.
You hang them up. But those things catch so many flies. They do. You just hang it up in the corner where they like to hang out, and they'll just fly into it, and that's it. Done. Yeah. But we had a problem.
Don't leave the food. I don't leave anything that draws flies. I don't really have a lot of flies. I know growing up we had these big sticks. They were green. They were like punks that you lit for mosquitoes, and you'd put them all around the patio. Yeah. And then people started switching to citronella candles, and that worked a lot better.
Citronella. We had
the bug zappers too. I think that took the place of the fly paper.
We don't have a pool anymore, but we had a pool, outdoor pool. It was an above ground pool, but it was a large pool. And all the kids, and the kids were younger. We're talking, this is a while ago. The kids were younger. We'd all swim, and there were so many mosquitoes, like you said. And we got the citronella bamboo things, sticks.
Oh, like
you light them. Yeah. But it was citronella.
And they have these big buckets of citronella candles you could light.
And we would light them, and they're just cool to look at.
So soft.
Yeah, Avon, yes. But it was cool to look at. Like at night, you had all these little torches around, but it kept the mosquitoes away from us. Because mosquitoes in Virginia are really bad. There's mosquitoes like a champ out here. Because I live between two lakes, and the mosquitoes love the lakes. They love the
water, the stagnant water.
Yeah, yep. So you get a lot of them.
Yeah, we had the deep woods off growing up. The regular off wasn't enough. I love the smell too. Oh my god.
Yeah. Skin's so soft. I loved it. It was like almost like baby powder. It was like sweet smelling, Skin So Soft. But my mom was really big into the Skin So Soft. When I would
Yeah,
go out to
Avon made a
play,
killing off of that. It wasn't
yeah,
even authorized for mosquitoes. Just people
yeah, she's like,
started realizing that it helped.
you got to rub your arms, the back of your neck. She tell me your cheeks.
You said your mom made a killing on that?
No, Avon did.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It was an Avon product. It was like a body lotion.
I was
that
wondering
Avon
then-
made, and it had something in it that kept mosquitoes away. So everybody started buying it as mosquito repellent.
And it was only a couple dollars. And then later on, when my kids were growing up, we got the cans of Off, like the spray cans. And I remember spraying them with Off, and mosquitoes were still on them with Off on them. So
You have to use
Off,
the Deep Woods.
Yeah.
Deep Woods. And now they have the wipes. You don't have to spray. You can just use little wet wipes.
But if you put Skin So Soft on, no mosquito would come in a mile of you. I don't know what it was, but like you never got bit if you had Skin So Soft on you. You know.
I don't have the type of blood that mosquitoes like, so they were always bothering the people around me. As long as there was another human around, they were going to decoy the mosquitoes from me.
You know what it is, Jeff? The people have said in studies, and I'm not a scientist, but they say it's someone's pH. Like they would smell someone's
something
pH.
like that. Like mine was not was less attractive to them than other people.
Your pH balance.
I remember when I was hiking the bluff in Wisconsin, there were so many mosquitoes there, man.
In Wisconsin. The thing I hate is the chiggers. They are way worse than mosquitoes, and they eat tunnels into your skin, and they itch.
Yeah.
When we go hunting, we have to watch out for ticks. There's ticks in the woods. Ticks are the worst, man.
I had a tick in Vegas. I was camping with Dana. Came home with the tick. I didn't notice it for like 2 days. It was attached to me the whole time, and I freaked out. It was a deer tick.
They're nasty. You got to burn them. You got to burn them off. Usually they'll pull a match to it and they'll fall off. But
I had
you got
something like that. I remember having to do.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I got a deer tick when I was did a training weekend in ROTC once. We caught it within a day though, and apparently if you get it in like less than 24 hours, it doesn't get embedded enough to give you a disease like Lyme disease or whatever. It actually has to be on it for a while before that happens.
Because you don't feel. I didn't feel.
You don't. No, their mucus on them like is a it's
Oh,
it's an anesthetic. It numbs.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It numbs.
But
they burrow.
It was like
yeah,
and they go in very slowly too. So what they did is they took alcohol. They got like a cloth. They wet it and they like soaked it in alcohol for a long time to try to like a way of putting it is like inebriate it so that it would not hold on as strong, and then they pulled it off.
I just know. I always remember like hunting because like I said, we hunted so much. If you got a tick, they would carry matches with them, and the hunters would carry matches, and not to smoke, just in case you got a tick on you, and they would light a match, and then they would put it right to the tick, and the tick would like fall right off. Something about the heat or something like that. They would like jump off you or burn them off. Yeah. And then sometimes they'd carry tweezers, like tweezers. But no, ticks, if you hunt in the woods, ticks are bad. They'll get all over you. They'll get on your legs, everything. They'll get on your hands, everything. Yep. Somebody being silly in the chat.
Pat, I don't want to block you.
Yeah, Pat.
Off the mic shit. Leave him alone.
I
handled it. Leave him alone.
I don't want to fucking dox this person, man. I'm getting tired of this person.
Leave him alone.
We have a mutual enemy. You and
you guys can pay for You guys can pay for drama court if you want to do this stuff.
Yeah. Or I'm gonna just knock him off. When I say leave it alone, that means drop it. Don't keep it.
Well, it's not a him.
More minutes.
It's actually a girl. It's actually a girl. It's not a him. It's a girl.
Oh.
Pat S is a girl.
Yeah, it's a woman.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It's our mutual enemy.
Pat, I don't control what comes out of Mike's mouth. So that goes for any. I have no idea who on the panel is telling lies or not. I'm just here for the conversation. If they can follow the rules for conversation that I set for this panel, they can stay. I don't have a way to fact check every single thing that comes out of somebody's mouth.
I've been hunting. I've been hunting. That's not a big lie. I'm not talking about. I was president or something like that. It's like These people are freaking ridiculous. You know, get it, dude. Get a life.
Okay,
get a life.
Yeah. Look, I don't want this on my channel, so don't keep it going. I'm taking care of it on the chat end, but I need you to stay up on the panel and take care of it on the panel end. That's how That's how it ends up.
I got you.
Continue.
Let me put a light on. It's getting dark. It's 4:39 and it's already getting dark out. It's weird. I'll be right back. I'll put the light on.
Oh shit! I got killed by a baseball bat.
What are you playing? That what is it?
Yeah, I'm playing Call of Duty.
Troll Town or Salem Town?
Call of Duty. Call of Duty.
Oh.
Someone just had a baseball bat. Even though
hey, did you ever make it onto the submarine?
I've played the game. I tried it out. I couldn't really figure it out, so I figured when we were like gonna have maybe like a day in mind to do it or whatever, I would just play with you guys.
Oh, so well, Moose is really good at helping new people get oriented. So, and he's always looking for people to jump in and help. He's pinged me
before. It's been a bit impromptu, so I think we just got to either plan it or just get me at a better time. Okay.
I started as an assistant. That really helped.
The one game I missed playing was Grand Theft Auto. Not for the violence, because it had the coolest 80s soundtrack. All those old 80s songs. You'd be driving around. Grand Theft Auto. Which one would it be? Where you would drive down the strip in Miami, and it was you could change the channel, and it was all the 80s, the cool 80s music.
Like real 80s, actual 80s songs, or like
real 80s
songs.
Fake
80s soundtrack. Oh wow.
No, it was the real song.
Like Aha and stuff.
Yeah, on Warzone they had like an 80s theme for a while. I remember.
Wow.
Like they had a building based on the Yakitori Plaza from Die Hard and stuff. And you could actually use a lot of 80s characters as like your skin. Like you could be Bruce Willis or you could be Rambo and stuff like that.
Oh. Mm-hmm. There's a whole world inside of video games.
Jeff said "oh" when I said Rambo. We know what he likes.
Yo.
No, that was not. I wasn't saying it particularly in response to Rambo. Just the whole idea of having the 80s inside of a video game.
Jeff likes really macho Italian.
I do like 80s. The O was for the 80s in general.
Because that's Gen X. Hey, what about? So let me ask you this: you often talk about like these like dystopian fucked up movies as being Gen X, but in the 80s there were a lot of those action comedy buddy movies. Is that Gen X?
Like Beverly Hills Cop stuff?
Yeah, or Lethal Weapon, or
yeah, I mean, you had that in the 70s too, which I guess is still Gen X.
But it really peaked in the 80s, you know.
You know movies I loved? I loved Charles Bronson, the Death Wish movies.
Oh, I never
Those
saw
are so awesome. You never seen Death Wish?
Never had a desire to.
Charles Bronson, where he's the vigilante.
I never liked shoot 'em up movie just to kill, like just to see how many cars you could crash and people you could shoot.
Yeah.
It had to have some kind of plot or comedy to it. Hey, UT, happy Sunday to you.
Yeah, basically his family was taken from him, so he became a vigilante. So it's got a really good plot. Charles Bronson, you know who Charles Bronson is?
Mm-hmm, I know Charles Bronson.
Yeah.
I just didn't watch the movies.
I got you.
Jeff, that video I showed you, it was the Gen X at war with Gen Z thing, right? But it was from the point of view of Gen Z. And the kid's like, so we're at war with you now. And the Gen Z kid's like, we are? Why? It's like, you know why. I do? What did you think of that?
It was the same lady playing all the roles. I thought it was kind of cheesy.
It is kind of cheesy. I mean, it's TikTok. A lot of it's going to be cheesy. But I think it's funny because, like, I noticed, like, you seem to have more of an issue with Gen Z than the other generations. Like, I've heard you complain about boomers sometimes, right?
I don't have a problem with boomers at all. It's millennials and because of the Matrix, but mainly the Z after that. They're the ones that absorbed all the woke stuff.
Yeah, with millennials, it's like
that are scared of everything and try to police. They're the like safetiest generation.
Right, yeah, you don't vibe with millennials because you have different cultural references, but like with Gen Z, like it's a complete mismatch, and
Well,
I just thought it was
they're
funny.
just so snowflake. They have no resilience whatsoever.
But like, what's interesting with that video is like from their point of view, they're like, I don't have a problem with you guys. Why don't you like?
But they say they don't have a problem with us until they do, because they find us scary and we violate every single one of their social norms. So when they're around us, they spend their whole time playing defense against us, very offensively toward us. So it's not like they can just chill out with us and not have a problem, because they always find something about us to problematize. That comes from the Z, not from us.
So is that
So she's
video
a little
kind of,
disingenuous there, saying, "Well, we don't have a problem with you," because they most certainly do.
or maybe she's just not very self-aware at the very least.
Maybe so. Maybe that's another thing I don't like about them.
I think I think one of the biggest things is that when someone is older than somebody, so growing up we called them old heads. Old head is someone who's older than you, who's been there and done that, right?
Old head.
And you go to them and you ask them questions. Hey, listen, this is what's going on in my life. What would you do? In other words, you're asking for counsel for someone that's older than you. But I think these younger generations think that they're better than the old heads. They think that they know more than us. Listen, young squirt, we've been there and done that 5 times, but they don't show respect to people that are elder to them. I think that's the biggest thing.
Part of it is because they're taught that everything about our generation is racist and homophobic and hateful, and we just don't realize it. So I think they see us as this ignorant generation that just is not awake to all the problems that, to me, don't really exist in society, but that they're taught still exist. So they write us off as just unaware. They're more enlightened than we are.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, they don't know what they're talking about, and it is what it is. It just I really think that we had the greatest generation ever. That I can ever.
I can't imagine. I wouldn't want to be any other generation. I feel like I won
the generation
lottery by being Gen X. I wasn't born to money. I wasn't born to any kind of other status, but goddamn, I was born Gen X.
That's it. We had so much fun. We were always happy.
Music, the best movies, the best childhoods.
You can get a decent job and live a decent life without having to worry about anything else. Like it was just awesome.
Millennials peaked in the 90s. Our childhood was our high point. It's just been downhill since there.
I'd probably be a lot more successful if I could transport back to the 80s. And I'd probably be able to keep a job, not get fired, actually have my talents and skills valued and appreciated without all this social bullshit getting in the way.
It's funny because I don't know why, I was just had a thought the other day, and I'm just I wish I could take what I know now and go back. We all think that. I wish I can go back. With the maturity you have now and what you've seen and what you've done. And
I wonder how much I would do different though. I still think I would be like the loner weird kid doing my own thing.
No, I think you'd be a lot more astute, and you'd be a lot more aware of the wolves, and you would know how to maneuver better. Physically, financially, mental.
That's what I would do differently. I would set myself up for some kind of financial future better than I did.
Yeah.
So would I. I mean, I can think about so many things I would do differently.
Yeah, I did not. College was not the path for me, and I would have put some kind of alternative in place very early instead of just wandering. It was the slacker generation. We were all kind of doing it. So
we were living, Jeff. We lived for the moment, right? If we had $5-6, we went to Taco Bell, right? We'd go to the rave or go to the club. We hung out with our friends. Dude, I remember just hanging out in Walmart parking lot when they were 24 hours, just 3 o'clock in the morning, throwing a football with my friends. And
all the black people used to hang out there.
We were free. We didn't worry about tomorrow. We just wanted to have fun each day. And I think that's what I would change. What I would change is that just securing more of a future.
What's
up, buddy?
Can you hear us?
Dude, look at that beard, man.
Yeah,
Goodness
welcome.
gracious.
No, yeah, I want to catch up with you. What's going on?
No, thank you for having me always.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. What's new?
Really, nothing's new. The world keeps the world keeps turning, and people keep talking, and I am grateful to be part of it. So here we are. Thank you.
Somebody's happy that Trump won.
I am. I'm even happier that Kamala didn't win.
Yeah.
And now we wait and see.
Yep, that's it. That's it. We will wait and see what happens. We
have the holidays. We can enjoy the holidays. Get through the holidays. We have Thanksgiving, Christmas,
New Year,
and then by January or February, we should have some idea of what to expect.
I had a funny remark I made. I was getting coffee with a friend earlier, and she ordered this thing called like a freeze-dried ice cream sandwich, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I could not wrap my mind around. I'm like, "So is it ice cream still? Like, what is this thing then?" And because it's sitting on a shelf, it's not refrigerated. Like how? So it sounded like an oxymoron. And so she takes it out, break off a piece. I try it. And I'm like, okay, I guess I get it now. And I'm like, I can see this being one of the things that gets banned quickly as soon as RFK Jr. Gets put into power. It's just whatever they do to make this.
A black market for food.
I can see so much shit getting wiped out as soon as he takes over.
Are you like Kinder eggs? Are you did it taste like an ice cream sandwich?
Yeah, it just wasn't cold, and it wasn't wet.
Sounds nasty.
So it was okay. I'm like, I wouldn't spend money on that. The thing is, I think it was like $5 for that little thing. I'm like, no way. So it'll be interesting, but yeah, it's like I actually think RFK Jr. is going to be one of the more impactful parts of his presidency. The way he just overhauls a bunch of food and drug stuff. Like I have no idea, like really what the net effect of that's going to be. It's going to be very different than what we've seen in previous. Because he got the whole Department of Health and Human Services. I mean, that's big.
Yeah, peer support falls under that too, so that's going to affect my own field. We'll see what he does with that.
Yeah.
There's not really, I don't know what much he can do. There's not much more to do with it other than get the DEI stuff out of there.
Yeah.
It was working fine on its own.
And I think I know that he doesn't support the DEI stuff. I think he realizes that it's just dead weight for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I don't know what they'll be able to do at the state level though, because Washington, it's all over the place here in Washington. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
other than the federal funding, like sometimes comes with DEI attached to it, which they can remove.
It's kind of shitty to say, oh, we'll just let the states decide because, Republicans often say that. Like, what about Republicans who live in Washington? Like,
dude, can you get rid of clever name, please? Can you get rid of that, dude?
No,
he's
I'm not getting. I'm gonna manage my panel.
Talking about bringing back polio, talking about diseases, dude. I mean, that is just ridiculous.
He can do his opinion trolling.
Ridiculous. The guy has a disease.
You know why? You know what? Clever name. I am excited about him bringing back polio because that's what gave us FDR, and we need another FDR. So there we go. Bam.
There you go.
I want him on record. I want his opinions on record.
I want another guy in a wheelchair in fireside chats and picking this country up.
Like what I'm trying to think of the thought process. They actually think that the government's going to bring back polio. Like how crazy do you have to be to think something like that? Yes, we're going to unleash polio and smallpox back onto the American public. You honestly, do you stay up at night fearing that for real?
Does anyone get vaccinated for polio anymore? Didn't we eradicate it? Aren't there some things we?
I'm pretty sure myself and my wife and my daughter like went through the hey, if you're about to be in public, you got to go through this max vaccination. It's 100% the thing.
Remember when you enlist and you go to basic and they like line you up like cattle on an assembly line and they just jab you with a bunch of shit?
We did it in, I think, before you went to school. I did it as a baby, and then you had to have boosters throughout your career. And I remember to get into college, like to attend public college, you had to update your boosters too. And then when I worked at a hospital, they required a booster update. So I've had it throughout my life, these different periods where I had to make sure that my immunization records were updated.
Yeah, I didn't have to get it, but my son had to because of his work stipulations. He had to get one of the jabs. I didn't have to, but he had to get one. And he said he got it, and he felt like crap for like a week or two.
And the next thing is the shingles one I have to get. I've already had a case of shingles already.
I like my vaccine strawberry flavored. Obviously, you don't taste them, but when you get jabbed, you just feel strawberries all of a sudden, man. It's great.
Unbelievable.
And it's also not like any of these people are going to go in there and wave a magic wand and get their way. They still have to. There's still like a existing set of checks and balances that they have to work their goals through. So
I remember there was this like vaccine activist like I saw on TikTok, like a video got shared, and she's like, I'm the vax slut. I like to take the jab in the butt, and just doing some sort of like singing song and dance thing with it. Well, like hoeing herself out. I'm not kidding. Like this is how she was doing activism for the vaccine. It was pretty funny.
I think you're a hysteric. Clever name.
So clever name.
I can't take you seriously that you think polio's coming back at the hands of the U.S. government.
Polio will never come back because it was a lousy sport to begin with. Why would anyone bring that back? God.
I thought you meant the shirts.
That's another way you get another FDR is you fall off the horse and you become paralyzed. That's what happened to Christopher Reeve. So whether it's polio or polo, we need a paralyzed person to make America great again. Okay.
I'm wearing a polo hoodie right now. I love it.
Until RFK takes it away from you.
There it is. Let's see it. Little horsey man.
You know what the hoodies are made out of? It's terrible chemicals. It's banned in Denmark.
It's Alex Jones impersonation.
I mean, you have to wonder. I don't know how old these people are, but I have 50-something years experience of living in the U.S. I have an idea of what extremes are possible from the government and what's not. So to think all of a sudden that there's going to be these major drastic upheavals in anything, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And I've lived through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 10 presidents.
Yeah. I think things do change a little bit.
It's ungrounded fear. If they had any grounding in experience or reality, I don't know how the hysteria they're exhibiting is compatible with experience or a sense of actual reality. That's what's confusing me, that cognitive dissonance between, oh my God, the sky is falling, and have you seen anything like that happen in your lifetime already? Why are you... even 4 years of Trump. We've had 4 years of Trump.
I'll say this, Jeff, and that is I'm not far off from you in age, but I don't vote. And I don't give a shit. I really don't. I really don't care what they decide to do. I'm going to keep being me every single day.
Me too. I think it's too much social media, too much watching YouTube, and not not this channel, but the other channels. Too much Twitter, too much something, and their brain gets radicalized and propagandized into this fearful hysteria. And I don't understand. I don't understand how normal, sane people end up at that point through this fantasy feedback loop.
It's like almost like it's like overstimulation. It's like they get twisted in their
It's
thoughts.
fear porn. It's fear porn.
Yeah.
It's like during the Satanic Panic, where everybody thought that there were Satanists ready to snatch your children and corrupt you through music and daycare centers and dungeons. None of that shit was happening, and people lived in mortal fear every day that was going on.
Yeah. Well, people fear what they don't understand. That's a great quote. People are afraid of what they don't understand.
I guess then my criticism is where is the failure of understanding then? Because the understanding is certainly possible.
They want to
put a hot pocket in the oven.
I think they're afraid to be wrong. They're afraid to actually be wrong on an issue, and that the way that you learn is by trial and error in life. You're right. You mess up, you fall down, you get back up, you learn how to do it better. But I think a lot of people now, they're afraid to be wrong. They think they're right. You can't tell me they're wrong. No one can tell them they're wrong, and they're going to stomp their foot and be little brats. But I just remember growing up, and it's like if I fell down or if I didn't know something, I asked somebody. Or if I made a mistake, I tried to figure out how to do it better next time. It just seems like these generations now, I think these generations now think that they know everything and can do everything perfectly, and they're not. They're not doing it perfectly. So go to somebody a little bit older.
Especially when it comes to the future. They have all these certainties about the future that they're convinced are going to occur, and they're very catastrophic and fear-based, like these nightmare scenarios. But I don't know what actual evidence or experience they're grounded in.
They're not. They're based in fantasy, not reality.
That's what it seems like. I guess I'm trying to figure out where the fantasy starts, but probably social media. We don't watch the same people on YouTube. We're not seeing the same information inputs. So whatever they're watching has them really scared. Okay, I'm at the 2-hour mark, so I think I'm gonna wind it up or wind it down. Joe, you have anything you want to say?
I hope these hot pockets stick around after RFK takes over Health and Human Services, because I really like those Philly cheesesteak ones. I just put one.
Yeah, that's going to really throw off your stock analysis. I saw where healthcare stocks were going down and some other stock.
Well, I know
just
one
based
lady
on cabinet picks alone.
A little over a year ago, there's this one lady I ran into on Discord. She had all of her money invested in Pfizer, and I'm like, oh. She was a nice lady too. Couldn't have predicted RFK Jr. So yeah, that was. Anyway,
we'll see what unlimited power he has to take away y'all's food.
RFK would have made a great
back
VP.
polio.
Yeah. They're gonna make a hat, make polio great again, right? They're gonna make a little hat with it in there.
Right. So, and hey, if it happens, come here and tell me I was wrong. I'll eat the crow, the USDA approved.
That's it. I got a crow.
All right, Mike, you have anything?
Yeah, it's just hey, I appreciate coming up as always. Always do my little outro, but yeah, I think RFK, and I think he's going to be really good. I think he's a very intelligent guy. And what I was going to say, and then he has did you see Trump's new border czar? Came in. He's going to shut the border down. I can't remember his name offhand.
John Holman guy.
I think it is. Yeah, is that his name?
Yeah.
And he's stern.
Yeah.
He's not playing games. I think Trump's putting people in positions that are really going to help the country turn around slowly. It's not going to be overnight. It's going to be slowly. But I think we're going to be heading in the right direction. We're going to turn the boat around, and I hope that we do. And that's it. I want nothing but positivity for everybody. I want things to possibly go down. and just for us to just be loving America again. That's all.
Okay.
Simple.
All right. I guess that's a good thing to end on. Untrackable. Any final words?
Yeah, I would say that I really appreciate you having me up here, and keep doing what you're doing. I think this open style is good, and the welcomeness and everything, and Mike and everybody that I get to talk to. I love to meet new people, and I'll say, like, yeah, there are these options of topics, but I love them all because I don't know about them without some of y'all. So thank you for that.
Oh, well, thank you too. I definitely will continue this, and everybody's welcome here that's here to contribute constructively. And the community guidelines are posted in the description. So if you're down with that, this is a place for you, and you're welcomed. Okay, I'll probably see everyone tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Take
Bye-bye.
care,
Salute.
everybody.
Joe, salute. Jeff, salute.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Parlez-vous
Au
français?
revoir. Huh?
All right.
Au revoir. Or à
That's
demain
it.
means tomorrow. Until tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
Take care, my friend.
Take care. Okie doke. Have a good rest of your day, and until tomorrow. See you then.